What if this ending is actually your awakening? If you're here right now, watching these words unfold on your screen, it's because something inside you knows that what feels like collapse might actually be the universe preparing you for who you're meant to become. You've been feeling it, haven't you? That strange sensation that your old life is slipping through your fingers like sand, no matter how tightly you try to hold on. The relationship that ended, the identity that no longer fits. The city, the job, the version of yourself that suddenly feels like a stranger's reflection in the mirror. But here's what nobody tells you about spiritual awakening. It doesn't arrive with fanfare and clarity. It arrives disguised as destruction, as endings, as the systematic dismantling of everything you thought you knew about yourself and your life. And right now, in this exact moment of your journey, you're standing at the most crucial threshold you'll ever cross. Because what if I told you that this ending you're experiencing isn't random? What if every loss, every breakdown, every moment of confusion has been orchestrated by your higher self to bring you to this precise point of transformation? What if the universe has been whispering the same message to you through every synchronicity, every repeated number, every inexplicable feeling that there's something more? And you're finally ready to hear it. Stay with me until the very end of this video, because in the final moments, I'm going to reveal the one quantum truth about your current reality that changes everything you think you know about endings, beginnings, and the infinite versions of you that already exist in awakened states, waiting for you to align. Right now, as you're watching this, you're not where you used to be, and you know it. Something fundamental has shifted inside you, and no matter how hard you try to go back to the person you were 6 months ago, a year ago, that version of you no longer exists. Maybe you ended a relationship that once defined your entire world. Maybe you walked away from a career, a city, a dream that stopped feeling like yours, or maybe nothing external changed at all. But inside, something cracked wide open. And now you can't unsee what you've seen. You can't unfeel what you've felt. This is not a breakdown. This is what the beginning of a spiritual awakening actually looks like when it's happening in real time. And if you're someone who's been feeling lost, disconnected, like you're standing between two worlds with no map and no instructions, I want you to hear this clearly. You are not broken. You are not failing. You are not falling apart. You are being reconstructed at a soul level, and what looks like chaos from the outside is actually the most organized, intentional process the universe could orchestrate for your evolution. How many times have you felt that tug, that whisper inside you that says there's more to life than what you've been taught? How many synchronicities have you noticed? Numbers repeating, names appearing, songs playing at the exact moment you needed to hear them? How many times have you looked around at the life you built and felt like a stranger inside your own story? That's not confusion. That's your higher self speaking to you through the only language it can use while you're still operating in the density of this reality. Patterns, feelings, disruptions, endings. Because here's the truth they don't tell you in the self-help books or the motivational quotes. Spiritual awakening doesn't come with instructions. It doesn't arrive politely. It dismantles everything you thought was solid so that you can finally see what's eternal. This video exists as a portal for people like you. People who know deep in their bones that consciousness is real. That energy is real, that there's a quantum field connecting all things, and we're not separate from it. We are it, experiencing itself in human form. And when you start to awaken to that reality, your old identity can't hold you anymore. It shatters, and in that shattering, you find the you that was always waiting underneath. So if you've been feeling like your life is ending, stay with me. Because by the end of this journey together, you're going to understand that this ending is not an end at all. It's the threshold, it's the invitation, it's your soul finally saying, it's time. Let's talk about what's really happening to you right now, beneath the surface of what you can see and touch. Because when you're going through an awakening, when you're in the middle of this identity collapse, it doesn't feel spiritual at all. It feels like you're falling apart. It feels like something is deeply, fundamentally wrong with you. But nothing could be further from the truth. What's actually happening is that your energetic frequency is shifting. And when I say frequency, I'm not speaking metaphorically. Everything in this universe, including you, vibrates at a specific rate. Your thoughts carry frequency. Your emotions carry frequency. Your beliefs, your identity, the story you've been telling about who you are, all of it exists as energy in motion, creating a vibrational signature that determines what reality you experience. For most of your life, you've been operating at a frequency that was programmed into you by your family, your culture, your pain, your survival mechanisms. You learned to be a certain version of yourself, to stay safe, to be loved, to belong. And that version worked for a while. But here's what happens when your soul starts to awaken. It begins to vibrate at a higher frequency, and suddenly the old identity, the old patterns, the old relationships, they can't match that new vibration anymore. Imagine trying to play a song that was recorded at 432 hertz on a device that's now tuned to 528 hertz. It won't work. The frequencies don't align. That's what's happening inside you. Your consciousness is ascending, moving to a higher level of awareness, and the version of you that existed in fear, in limitation, in the need to please everyone around you, that version simply cannot exist at this new frequency. This is why everything feels like it's falling away. The relationship that ends suddenly, even though you tried so hard to save it. The career that no longer lights you up, even though it once defined your entire sense of purpose. The friendships that fade, the dreams that dissolve, the cities that no longer feel like home. None of this is random. None of this is punishment. This is energetic realignment. This is what the mystics call the dark night of the soul. This is the phase where everything that is not truly you must be stripped away so that what is eternally you can finally emerge. And I know how terrifying that is. I know how it feels to wake up in the morning with a weight in your chest that you can't explain. To look in the mirror and not recognize the person staring back. To feel like you're grieving a version of yourself that's still technically alive. But here's what you need to understand. You are not breaking down. You are breaking open. Your old operating system, the one you installed as a child to survive this world, is being uninstalled because it's no longer compatible with the consciousness you're becoming. And yes, during this transition, you're going to feel disoriented. You're going to experience emotional turbulence, energy sensitivity, physical symptoms like fatigue, sleep disruptions, unexplained tears, body buzzing, all of it. These are not signs that something is wrong. These are signs of recalibration. Your entire system is adjusting to carry more light, more awareness, a completely new frequency of being. And the intensity of what you're feeling right now, that's not punishment. That's growth. That's your soul saying, I'm ready to shed the false self and become who I truly am. Now let's go deeper, because what if I told you that the reason this ending feels so disorienting is because you're not just changing, you're actually shifting timelines. Stay with me here, because this is where quantum physics and spirituality converge in the most beautiful, mind-expanding way. In quantum theory, there isn't just one fixed reality. There are infinite parallel realities, infinite versions of your life, all existing simultaneously in what scientists call the quantum field. And here's the part that changes everything. The version of reality you experience isn't random. It's not fate. It's determined by your frequency, your beliefs, your focus, the state of consciousness you're operating from. There's a principle in quantum physics called the observer effect. It shows that the act of observing something actually influences what becomes real. In the famous double-slit experiment, particles existed in a state of infinite possibility, as waves of potential, until the moment they were observed. And then, through observation, through focus, they collapsed into one specific tangible reality. This is not just happening in a laboratory. This is happening in your life right now, in every moment. You are the observer. Your consciousness is collapsing waves of possibility into the reality you're experiencing. And when you begin to awaken, when your frequency starts to shift, you're no longer a match for the timeline you were on. You're being pulled magnetically toward a different version of your life that already exists in the quantum field. Think about it like this. Imagine that every possible version of you exists right now across infinite timelines. There's a version of you who stayed in that relationship, a version who moved to a different city, a version who chose courage instead of fear 5 years ago and is now living a completely different life. All of these versions are real. They're not fantasies. They exist as frequencies, as possibilities in the vast ocean of the quantum field. And your higher self, that expanded consciousness that exists beyond time and space, it can see all of these timelines at once. Your higher self knows which version of your life is in alignment with your soul's true purpose, with your highest evolution. And when the timeline you're currently on no longer serves that evolution, your higher self begins to orchestrate the shift. This is why things suddenly fall apart. This is why people leave your life with no warning. This is why doors slam shut and new ones refuse to open for a while. You're not being punished, you're being redirected. Your higher self is systematically removing you from a timeline that was keeping you small, keeping you stuck, keeping you in patterns that weren't yours to begin with. Timeline jumping doesn't happen by wishing harder or thinking positive thoughts while your entire being vibrates with fear and doubt. It happens through embodiment. It happens when you shift your internal frequency so completely that the old timeline can no longer hold you. You don't chase the new reality. You become it internally before the evidence shows up externally. And here's what most people don't understand about this process. There's a gap, a void, a period where you've already left the old timeline, but you haven't fully landed in the new one yet. You're in between worlds, and that in-between space, that's what you're experiencing right now. That's why nothing makes sense. That's why you feel untethered, like you're floating in space with no gravity, no direction, no familiar landmarks to guide you. But this void is sacred. This is the quantum field itself. This is pure potential. And every moment you spend in this discomfort, in this uncertainty, you're recalibrating. You're shedding the frequency of who you were and attuning to the frequency of who you're becoming. Your consciousness is expanding, rising, moving from one state of awareness to another. And the universe is rearranging everything around you to match this new vibration. So when you look at your life right now and see endings, see loss, see emptiness, know this: you're not seeing destruction. You're witnessing the quantum field responding to the shift in your consciousness. You're watching one timeline dissolve so another can solidify. And the version of you that's waiting on that new timeline, it's already awake. It's already whole. It's already free. You're not becoming that version. You're remembering it. So the question becomes, how do you align with the version of you that's already awake? How do you move from this in-between space into the timeline where you're living as your true self, whole and free, and aligned with your soul's purpose? Because understanding the quantum mechanics is beautiful, but you need something you can actually do, something you can practice, something that bridges the mystical with the practical. The answer is not what most people want to hear, but it's the truth. You cannot force your way into alignment. You cannot hustle your way into a higher timeline. You cannot manipulate reality through sheer willpower while your entire being is still vibrating with fear, with resistance, with the desperate need to control. Alignment doesn't come from doing more. It comes from surrendering more. Surrender is not giving up. Surrender is not passivity. Surrender is the courageous act of releasing your grip on how you think your life should look and trusting that your higher self, that the universe, that the infinite intelligence that orchestrates galaxies and seasons and heartbeats knows exactly what it's doing. When you surrender, you stop trying to force outcomes. You stop clinging to the old timeline out of fear. You stop resisting the ending because you're terrified of what comes next. Instead, you drop into your body. You return to the present moment. You stop living in the story of what was or the anxiety of what might be, and you anchor yourself here, now, in the only place where transformation actually happens. This is embodiment. Embodiment means bringing your full consciousness into your physical form. It means feeling your feelings instead of analyzing them. It means listening to the wisdom of your body, which is always communicating with you through sensation, through intuition, through that quiet knowing that lives beneath the noise of your mind. When you're fully embodied, you're no longer floating in mental stories. You're here, grounded, present, and from that place of presence, you can actually feel what alignment is. Your body knows the truth before your mind does. Your body can sense when something is aligned or when it's not. That feeling in your gut when you meet someone and something just feels off, even though on paper they're perfect. That pull you feel toward a certain decision, even though it makes no logical sense. That's not randomness. That's your higher self speaking to you through your nervous system, through your energy field, through the ancient intelligence that lives in your cells. So start there. Start with your breath. Right now, wherever you are, take a slow, deep breath. Feel the air moving into your lungs. Feel your chest expanding. Feel the pause at the top of the breath. And then release. Let it go completely. This simple act, this conscious breathing, brings you back into your body and calms your nervous system. It signals to your entire being that it's safe to be here, safe to feel, safe to let go. Next, practice vibrational alignment through your emotional state. This doesn't mean forcing yourself to feel happy when you're grieving. This doesn't mean toxic positivity or pretending everything is fine when it's not. Vibrational alignment means becoming honest about what you're feeling and then gently, compassionately, shifting towards states that feel slightly better. Your emotions are your vibrational feedback system. They tell you whether you're in alignment with your true self or whether you're caught in old patterns, old fears, old stories. When you feel heavy, constricted, anxious, you're not aligned. When you feel light, expanded, peaceful, curious, you are. And here's the key. You don't have to leap from despair to joy in one moment. You just have to find the next feeling that feels slightly more open. From hopelessness, maybe you move to acceptance. From anger, maybe you move to understanding. From fear, maybe you move to curiosity. Each small shift in your emotional frequency creates a shift in the quantum field. Each moment you choose presence over panic, trust over control, openness over resistance, you're collapsing a new reality into form. And then you practice being the version of you that's already awake, even before the evidence shows up. You don't wait for your life to change, to feel whole. You become whole now, internally, and then watch as your external reality reorganizes to match. This is the inside-out approach to manifestation. This is how you step into the new timeline. Ask yourself, how would the awakened version of me move through this day? How would they speak to themselves? How would they respond to this challenge? What would they let go of? What would they say yes to? And then, even if it feels like you're pretending at first, embody that. Act from that place. Choose from that place. Speak from that place. Because the more you practice being that version, the more you become that version. Now let me give you something practical you can do today, right now, to begin anchoring yourself in this new frequency. Because all of this understanding, all of this quantum wisdom, it means nothing if it doesn't translate into real shifts in your daily experience. First, Create a daily spiritual practice that grounds you in presence. This doesn't have to be complicated, it doesn't have to take hours, but it needs to be consistent. Every single morning before you pick up your phone, before you let the world rush in with its demands and distractions, take 5 minutes to reconnect with yourself. Sit in stillness. Close your eyes. Place your hand on your heart and take 3 deep, intentional breaths. With each inhale, imagine you're breathing in light, clarity, alignment. With each exhale, release everything that's not yours, everything that's weighing you down, all the fear and confusion and resistance. This simple act recalibrates your nervous system and reminds your entire being that you are safe, you are here, you are awake. Meditation is the most powerful tool you have for strengthening your connection to your higher self. In meditation, you intentionally quiet the chaos of the egoic mind and drop into the deeper consciousness that knows the truth. Your mind will wander. That's okay. Let it. Don't force the thoughts away. Just notice them, like clouds passing through the sky, and gently return to your breath. Over time, your mind will resist less. The voice that tells you this is pointless, that you don't have time, that nothing's happening, that voice will quiet. And in that quiet, you'll hear the whisper of your soul. Next, I want you to start journaling with intention, not just writing about your day, but using prompts that take you deeper, that help you process what's happening beneath the surface. Here are a few questions to sit with. What version of me is trying to die right now, and what version is trying to be born? Write without filtering. Let the answers come from your body, not your mind. What am I still holding on to out of fear? And what would it feel like to release it? Be honest. Name the fear, feel it, and then imagine placing it in the hands of the universe. If I fully trusted that I am being guided, how would I move through today differently? This question shifts you from control into surrender, from fear into faith. Journaling creates a bridge between your conscious and subconscious mind. It helps you process emotions, gain clarity, and document your journey so that months from now, you can look back and see just how far you've traveled. It becomes proof that transformation is real, that this ending truly was your awakening. And here's a practice you can do throughout your day to stay anchored in awakened consciousness. Every time you notice yourself spiraling into fear, into old stories, into the anxiety of the unknown, pause. Take 1 conscious breath. Place your awareness in your body. Ask yourself, am I present right now, or am I lost in a story about the past or the future? This simple question brings you back to the only moment where your power actually exists. Now, not yesterday, not tomorrow, now. And in this moment right here, you are okay. You are breathing. You are alive. You are held by something so much bigger than your fear. Living as your awakened self doesn't mean you never feel fear or doubt again. It means you don't let those emotions run the show. It means you feel them, you honor them, and then you choose to act from the version of you that trusts, that knows, that remembers this is all unfolding exactly as it's meant to. So today, practice being that person. Practice moving through your life as if you already know, with absolute certainty, that everything is working out in your favor. Not from arrogance, but from deep trust. From the quiet knowing that your soul has a plan, and every ending, every loss, every moment of confusion is part of that plan. You don't need to have all the answers. You don't need to see the full path. You just need to take the next step from alignment, from presence, from the version of you that's already awake. And as you do, the quantum field responds. Reality shifts, and the ending you've been grieving reveals itself as the beginning you've been praying for. So here we are, at the end of this journey together. And if you've stayed with me until this moment, I want you to know that it's not a coincidence. Nothing about you being here right now, watching these words, feeling what you're feeling, is random. This video found you because some part of your soul knew you were ready to hear this truth. What if this ending is actually your awakening, not a metaphor, not a comforting thought to make the pain easier, but the literal quantum truth of what's happening to you right now? You're not falling apart. You're falling into alignment. You're not losing yourself. You're shedding every version of you that was never truly yours to begin with. The relationship that ended, the identity that collapsed, the life that dissolved, none of it was taken from you as punishment. It was released because your higher self knew it was time. Because you're being called to a completely different timeline, a completely different frequency, a version of your life where you finally get to be who you truly are. And I know it doesn't feel like awakening when you're in the middle of it. I know it feels like loss, like confusion, like you're wandering in the dark with no map and no end in sight. But that darkness, that void, that's the quantum field itself. That's pure potential. That's the sacred space where one reality ends and another begins. So trust this process. Trust that every synchronicity, every intuition, every inexplicable pull you've been feeling is your soul guiding you toward the version of your life that's been waiting for you all along. You don't need to force it. You don't need to figure it all out. You just need to surrender, stay present, and keep choosing alignment one breath at a time. This ending is your awakening. And the version of you that's emerging from this transformation is going to look back one day and thank the universe for every single thing that had to fall away. If this video touched something deep inside you, if you felt seen, if you felt like the universe was speaking directly to your soul through these words, then this is your portal. This channel exists for people exactly like you. People who are going through the sacred, messy, beautiful process of waking up to who they truly are. So if you're ready to continue this journey, if you want to keep receiving these transmissions that help you navigate your awakening with clarity and trust, subscribe to this channel. Click that button. Let this become part of your daily spiritual practice, a space where you can come back to center, where you can remember the truth when the world feels overwhelming. And I want to hear from you. Drop a comment right now and write, "Infinite positive possibilities." Or share with me one synchronicity you've experienced recently, one moment where you felt the universe speaking to you. Because when you declare your intention out loud, when you speak it into existence, you anchor it energetically into your new timeline. You're telling the quantum field, this is who I am now. This is the reality I'm choosing. There's another video appearing on your screen right now that continues this journey even deeper. It's the next step on this path we're walking together. Don't leave this moment behind. Keep going, because you're not meant to walk this path alone. You're part of a community of awakened souls, all finding their way back home to themselves. Thank you for being here. Thank you for having the courage to question, to seek, to grow. Your awakening matters, your transformation matters, and I'm honored to be part of this journey with you.